Um, Guys, I know a lot of you don't get it, but I understand sometimes you guys go through certain things, and sometimes you feel like you're doing everything you thought you were supposed to do, and you give so much effort. So many of you guys out here are always showing up. You guys are always being consistent. You guys are always texting her back. You guys are always giving her compliments, and you guys are always trying to do what you think is the right thing. And while most of you guys think everything is going good and everything is going well, all of a sudden something happens with her, and through those times, everything is going well. She's responsive. She's affectionate. She sits there and tells you how amazing you are. And this is the gist of most guys' relationships, because in the beginning, everything is going well. Everything is peaceful. Everything is great at the time. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she shifts. All of a sudden, she becomes distant. All of a sudden, she becomes cold. All of a sudden, she becomes confusing. And then all of a sudden, she begins to actually pull back and leave you guys left wondering, what's going on. I mean, you're like, what did I do wrong? And for many of you guys, what y'all do is you begin to try to replay everything in your head to see where you went wrong. You replay every text message. You replay every conversation and everything, searching for this mythical answer. But what most guys don't understand, and here's the truth, what most guys out here have never, ever been told in the game is that you didn't do anything wrong. The only thing that you did wrong is that because you started everything in her world and her environment, you stayed in her world and environment, and you are a prisoner of her emotional reality of ups and downs, to a point where you started reacting to her moods, her silence, her games, and it left your structure and left your mindset caught up into all kinds of chaos. And the thing is, a man cannot lead from a place of weakness. He just can't do that. You cannot inspire desire when you keep, unfortunately, bending to her feelings. And for most guys, they don't even understand, the problem is too many men or guys have been trained to adapt to a woman's feelings and femininity and emotions, instead of requiring that woman. Wait a second, no, guys, I don't want to get in an accident. But get back what I was saying is that instead of you guys going down to her standards, coming up to your standards, you go down to her standards. And this is why it's exhausting for a lot of you guys out here. And this is why it's very confusing for a lot of you guys out here. Because the moment you give up on who you are and stop standing on your square, gentlemen, is the moment you lose everything from that woman. You lose the attraction, you lose the respect, you lose everything that is going on. And I want to be perfectly clear to you guys, this isn't about being cold, this isn't about being heartless, this is just about refusing to be emotionally hijacked in her world and her reality, and understanding that your strength as a man and everything isn't in how much you feel, for that woman. It's actually how deeply you are actually rooted in yourself. And so many guys don't understand this. Because as a man, I don't chase approval, nor should you guys out there. I don't flinch when she withdraws. I don't beg or explain or adapt to any kind of dysfunction. I lead. She is either going to come up to my world or my standard, or she's gone. Because at the end of the day, guys, sorry, my phone was ringing. At the end of the day, gentlemen, this is not about losing yourself to try to handle her correctly, because a man never abandons his reality for hers. A man cannot hold space in her feminine energy without actually being consumed by it. And this is why we've got to talk about it, and we've got to discuss this, because when you guys can sit and actually master what I'm talking about, you're going to change everything, because you're going to stop being confused and start being more confident in yourself. You're going to stop being played, and you're going to start being pursued the right way. You see, the woman who's right for you guys, the right woman for you, will see your strengths, and they will see you for who you actually are. And that's the gift in everything. Because as a man who is one thought, one mind, one way, and that guy can hold the standard and doesn't waste his time, he doesn't beg for alignment. He demands it through his presence and who he is as a man. So if you are ready to stop being emotionally manipulated by a woman, this is actually the video for you. Because at the end of the day, real men just don't guess. They really understand. And once you understand this, you'll never, ever, ever be played again. And that's the beauty about it. You will separate yourself from all the other countless guys that are trying to move and trying to play, and all those little silly games that really frustrate you, because I want you guys to actually win. It's just that women just don't want you to win. So let's talk on this. But to even understand that right there, guys, you got to understand women for a second. And what you have to understand about women is that they are emotional wrecks. They're wild ass animals. They're ups and downs. As I've always said, they have good days and bad days. They cry today, laugh tomorrow. But the worst part is, if women are that way, why go down into her reality? Why try to be a part of her world, her life, and her universe? When you start doing that, you start to mess things up. You kind of disrupt the dynamics of everything. But what you guys got to understand, the biggest mistake that men make is thinking that women actually operate in the same logical world that we do. A lot of guys out there expect consistency, they expect facts, and they actually expect reason. But women don't do that because they're emotional. They live in the moment. They live in moments, topped on moments, based on only one thing and how they feel. And this is why when you get this game, you handle these things by never reacting to her emotional highs and lows. Guys, I have women that leave me, break up with me, I guess, walk away and block me because they can't get their way. But I don't run back behind them. They always come back to me, because when you're the guy, you're the guy. And when you can move this way, and that's going to be a shift not only in your reality, but also hers. Never reacting to her highs and lows. You know what? I'm respectful. I mean, I demand respect, right? So I respect that she's emotional, and I respect her feelings, but I never allow those things to dictate my actions at all. And when a woman gets around a man like that, she's going to shift herself emotionally, because how steady you are as a man. You are the captain of the ship. And those are the things that actually give her security. And this is something that when you have this type of mindset, when you are one thought, one mind, one way, you change everything up. It changes everything up, because what happens for so many guys, and they get caught up into this, is that they're always trying to fix. They're trying to please her when she's upset. They're trying to say, I'm sorry, when she's upset. Well, the thing about someone that has game, and so beautiful about the game, is that a man himself handles it by not actually entertaining the woman. He doesn't entertain the woman. He doesn't entertain the drama. He doesn't argue or anything like that. He just refuses to validate dysfunction. We do not bring and allow dysfunction in our world. And what makes a woman shift what she's thinking about because of all of this is because she's trying to understand him, okay? And the only way a woman can understand a man is by actually challenging that man to see what she can get away with or what she can't get away with. And they can't get away with anything. We don't see, a lot of women love to argue and love to push the boundaries because they feel they can push the boundaries because the average man is going to actually give in. And most of the biggest mistakes that guys make when it comes to that is that they're trying to use logic and argue against a feeling. You can't argue against a feeling, man. You're not going to win a conversation versus a woman who is caught up in her feelings, okay? See, the thing is that a man doesn't sit around and debate a woman's emotions. I understand her, and I understand and I can acknowledge her feelings and her emotions without submitting or agreeing to her. And why women will shift to a man like that is because they realize she can't move me off my square. She can't throw me off. And if she can't throw me off my square or move me off my square, she's going to start to chase the thing that she cannot control, and that is me. And also, what happens for a lot of these guys out here is that I know you want clarity, but you're asking someone emotional to give you something logical, okay? Her behaviors as a woman, she is always going to be, regardless of anything, consistently inconsistent. And for a lot of guys out there, I get it. You want her to explain herself. You try to look for closure. You try to get her to promise that she's never going to do this or behave like that again, only for her to do it again. See, the way that you're supposed to handle things as a man is by sitting back and watching the patterns. At the end of the day, we do not chase her words. And what do I mean by that? These women know how to use wordplay. And what I mean by wordplay, these women know how to lie to you with words. That's all I always tell you. Actions will always equal truth. And her actions are never going to line up with the words when you are living in her reality, in her world. And the thing is that as a man, I'll never, ever believe what a woman is saying. I'm always going to see how that woman is moving. Her words are going to actually tell me the story of what she actually is without me having to sit around and believe the words. I know sometimes we want to believe the words. We want to believe what they say. We want to believe what they think and all this other stuff. But when you force her to use her actions over her words, it's going to cause another shift, because at the end of the day, we don't fight. We don't argue, okay? We withdraw, not into ourselves, but away from that woman. And what happens is we take away the things that she desired in us, because I don't want you to see it as a punishment, but you might as well call it some kind of punishment, because if she's not following what I need to do, she doesn't get my time. She doesn't get my attention. And these are things women crave so much in a man. So at the end of the day, gentlemen, we have to stop lowering ourselves to the standards that she has. And what we've got to do is we've got to stop trying to make her happy. We always got to look at our values over her emotions. Remember, guys, she needs to come up to you. And what do I always tell you guys about that? I have, as a man, I say I, but I'll say you guys, as men, you are strength. You are stability. You don't play games. You don't beat around the bush. You don't lie. You don't manipulate. You don't deceive. You have a standard that you demand excellence because you are excellent yourself. Your self-worth is going to be there regardless. And for many guys out there, they will sit there and change their identity for a woman just to make her happy. And I say, pluck her happiness. As a man, I am never going to trade in my value for her emotions, my self-worth, who I am, what I am, and why I am. I'm always going to be me regardless of how she acts. But when you stick like this, gentlemen, and stay this way, dog, regardless of what's going on with her, she is going to realize that, gentlemen, you are the prize, okay? And this is why it's very important, gentlemen. Y'all have to start ignoring her feminine emotions. If she is out of line and out of order and raising her voice, it is up to you to tell her, don't talk to me that way. Do not raise your voice at me in a calm tone. Because the only way you're going to calm a wild horse down is by putting him in the same stall with a calm one, and you're the calm in the storm, guys. That's the most important thing that you have to be, gentlemen. And this is why it's going to be a thing of, it's not, and I don't even want to call it a struggle, gentlemen. It's just how the world is going to work. But we're not going to fall into this persona of hers where she needs to demand all attention and she needs to feel sexy. Guys, when y'all get in this game, you're not going to have time for all these women. And these women are going to know that. And they're going to start off saying that, yes, I understand in the beginning, but they're going to get frustrated because they know your time is really fun, you're really exciting, and all those things. So what we have to do at the end of the day is we have got to stop being in her world and start pulling her into our world, okay? This is very important, gentlemen, because the biggest mistake a lot of guys make is that you step down to the chaos. You try to connect with her on her level, her rules, her way, trying to gain approval, and you'll never get the approval. And the thing is, as a man, we handle these things because we are not going to go into her problems, her issues, her complaining and all this other stuff, because at the end of the day, we are the ones that have to remain grounded. Okay, that's what's very important. And we are not trying to go down and equal her on her feelings and emotions. And that's why we always tell you, put your feelings in your pocket. When you meet a woman, you've got to be stability. You got to make sure that at the end of the day that I am not here to listen to you crying, complaining, whining, and bitching over things. I am here to lead, guide, elevate, and educate you in ways that you don't know. And at the end of the day, guys, we have to stop losing our identities by trying to seek her validation, by feeling that we can never be great men if she doesn't like me. If she doesn't like me and she's not interested in me, then I guess I'm the problem. Guys, you will never be the problem to a woman. And I tell you that, damn, went the wrong way. You're never going to be a problem to a woman. I think that's where they got everything wrong and twisted, man. But at the end of the day, gentlemen, this is why we got to stand on who we are, gentlemen. Because guys, if y'all can just take a moment and learn real and learn yourself, learn the game, it is going to handle all of your problems. And if you learn to put your feelings in your pocket instead of just bleeding them out every time she's in one of these moods, you've got to stop rewarding her bad behavior. You've got to refuse to step down into a reality that you should have never been in the first place. You've got to be strong. You have to be manly in what you are and who you are, and be willing to lose that person over losing yourself. Because when a woman really sees that she has to work and she has to fix what's inside of her to meet your standards, or she's going to get dropped or dismissed, she's going to change everything. And guys, when you start being the person that she respects at the end of the day, you're going to be very impressive to her. Very impressive. And women don't understand that, because that's the power of being one of one thought, one mind, one way. Because you're always going to lead your world, and she has to follow your world. But if you are always running behind her world, following her, you are always going to lose. So just remember, guys, your power and your worth. And always remember, she is going to be emotional. She's going to have her ups and downs. She's going to whine. She's going to complain. She's going to cry. She's going to get angry. But you're not going to do it around me. You can do that around those suckers, but not around me. When you get around me, we're going to enjoy ourselves. That's what I am. We're not going to argue. I don't believe in arguing. I don't believe in fighting. I don't believe in disruption. I am not going to put my universe into chaos. I am a man. I'm one of one. And I'm never going to move like that for anybody. Never, ever anybody. I'm always going to love, appreciate, and learn who I am at the end of the day, guys.